The movie begins by showing alien creatures on an alien planet. The scene then shifts to a group of scientists. Albert informs Doug about unprecedented fluctuations in readings, but Doug dismisses the concerns, noting such anomalies are common and referencing similar issues from the previous month. Doug is focused on his son's visit, which took nearly a year to organize. He suggests Albert discuss his findings with Nolan. Trent and Jenny discuss their excitement and feelings about being at the facility. Trent, influenced by his father's interest, is excited, while Jenny, who worked hard to secure her placement, initially responds confidently, but then defensively questions the fairness of Trent's presence. They compare their academic achievements, realizing they both have high GPAs. Nolan introduces himself to Trent and Jenny, acknowledging their rare placements and joking about the facility's high security. He notes the extensive vetting process and Trent's father's role as chief scientific officer. Nolan plans a tour of the facility and a meeting with Doug, who has a surprise for them. As Nolan escorts them, Trent and Jenny admire the impressive security measures and advanced weaponry. They meet blisters who check their temporary IDs before allowing them to proceed. During the tour, they discuss the facility's features and a failed safety experiment. The tour is interrupted when a woman informs Nolan that Albert needs to see him in the observation room, prompting a quick departure. Nolan informs Trent and Jenny that he needs to cut the tour short due to being summoned. He briefly explains that in 1951, a unique frequency was detected, leading to the discovery of a rift or wormhole emitting cognitive and intelligent frequencies, suggesting an alien origin. The facility monitors this rift, and while most signal emitters disintegrate, one passes through, potentially reaching Kepler 22b, a habitable planet 620 light-years away. Doug arrives, greeting Trent and Jenny formally and emphasizing professionalism. He informs Nolan that Albert is waiting in the chamber, prompting Nolan to leave to meet Albert. Doug takes Trent and Jenny to see the rift, marveling at its impressive appearance. Doug explains that while Albert believes the portal is getting stronger, theories about it change frequently. Albert thinks that once the rift reaches a critical level, an event will occur. As they examine the rift, a golden light emerges. Albert informs Nolan that the rift has reached critical mass. Suddenly, they see something moving within the rift. Nolan approaches it, only for an alien to emerge and attack him. Other aliens follow, leading to a chaotic situation as they start attacking people. Doug, Trent, and Jenny quickly get into a car and drive away, witnessing scientists and other personnel being attacked by aliens as they pass by. In the car, they discuss their next steps. Doug decides to take them to the Withnail base, an old military bunker used in the past when systems at Unit 51 were upgraded for safety. Trent is concerned about his mother, but Doug reassures him that she will know what to do and suggests calling her. Jenny worries about her parents, who live on the other side of the basement. Doug plans to drop Trent and Jenny off at the bunker, have them meet Trent's mother, and then go after Jenny's parents, advising them to stay indoors. As they try to make calls, they realize the portal's interference is affecting the network signal. Trent suggests using his dad's old-school radio. They listen to the radio frequencies, picking up a breaking news report about unidentified creatures emerging from a nearby military base and killing several people. Amidst the chaos, Trent questions how any of this can be under control. Trent spots his mom's car and informs Doug. Doug acknowledges it and expresses confusion over the lack of a sentry. He instructs everyone to proceed quietly and stay close to avoid attracting the creatures. As they move, they find Helen and Elaine with a man. Doug urges them to keep their voices down, emphasizing the danger and the need to get inside quickly. Helen reveals she forgot her insulin, and a sergeant approaches, identifying the area as restricted and ordering them to leave. Doug asserts his authority as the executive operations director at British Area 51 and demands access, stressing the urgency due to the situation outside. The sergeant initially resists but eventually opens the door, allowing the group to enter as soldiers shoot at approaching aliens before closing the door behind them. Inside the facility, an argument breaks out among the group. Doug asks if everyone is okay, and the man angrily responds that they could have died outside, having screamed for help for 15 minutes. A soldier apologizes, explaining that he was only following orders and didn't know what to do. Doug tries to calm everyone down, emphasizing that arguing won't help. He asks who is in charge, and the soldier informs him that Lieutenant Bain is in the command center. Jenny worries about her parents, but Doug reassures her that they will address that soon. He decides to check in with Lieutenant Bain first to seek his assistance, and asks the sergeant to lead the way to the command center. The soldier leads Doug through the facility, explaining the presence of equipment left from an old training program. Doug inquires about the current situation outside, but the soldier mentions that Lieutenant Bain will provide those details shortly. Doug asks about the bunker's layout and condition. The soldier describes the bunker as having 3 floors, the top floor for living quarters, the middle for the command center, and the bottom for industrial elements and a secondary exit. Doug also inquires about the number of personnel currently in the bunker. The soldier replies that there are only a handful of people present, with more expected to arrive soon, which is why they should not allow any unauthorized personnel. Doug and the soldier reach Lieutenant Peter Bain. Doug introduces himself, and Bain suggests dropping formalities due to the dire situation. Bain admits they know nothing about the alien creatures, their origins, or how to eliminate them. Doug inquires about the facility's security, and Bain reassures him that while the bunker is designed to withstand extreme scenarios, it is 70 years old. Doug explains that he was the executive director of operations at Area 51 and describes the critical state of the rift that allowed hostile, unidentified life forms to swarm through and overrun the compound. Bain expresses disbelief but appreciates the information. He mentions that their primary mission is to protect the safety of the bunker, though they are underfunded and lack supplies for long-term habitation. Doug requests access to the communications room to re-establish contact with the outside world. Bain agrees, but first wants to know who else is with Doug. Doug lists his wife, son, a graduate from the facility, and 2 other civilians, one of whom is wounded. Elaine helps Helen to a bed as Helen, who is extremely sick, begins to vomit immediately. The concerned man suggests taking Helen to the infirmary, but Helen stubbornly insists she's fine and tells him to stop worrying. The man offers to get her some water and asks if she needs anything else, but she declines. After he leaves, Elaine expresses concern about Helen's condition and suggests they tell someone what happened, fearing Helen might have caught something. Helen vehemently refuses, worried they will be thrown out if anyone finds out. She reassures Elaine that she just needs to sleep it off and will be fine by morning, emphasizing the need for self-preservation in their situation. Helen then requests antibiotics, feeling a stinging infection from earlier. Elaine agrees to get them and leaves the room. After she departs, worms can be seen in the bowl, where Helen vomited, indicating a more serious infection or contamination. Jenny finally manages to get in touch with her dad via radio. She anxiously calls out to him, and he responds, expressing relief and concern. Jenny reassures him that she is safe at a military compound, taken there by officers from her placement. Her dad mentions the presence of creatures everywhere, and Jenny tells him to head to the factory compound unit, where someone will come to get them. However, the signal breaks up and they lose connection before he can confirm their location. Distressed, Jenny realizes her dad didn't hear where he needed to go, and the signal is dead. She urgently insists that the soldiers need to go and get her parents because they are in danger and can't reach the compound on their own. Frustrated, she turns to Doug, accusing him of not fulfilling his promise to help. Doug reassures her that he intends to keep his promise, stating that he knows the site well, as it was a military base 20 years ago. As Doug prepared to leave, 2 soldiers joined him, ensuring he wouldn't go alone. They cautiously exited the compound, guns at the ready, and managed to reach their car just as an alien emerged from the shadows. They quickly drove away from the area. Upon arriving at the designated meeting spot, they found that Jenny's parents were not there. Determined to find them, they decided to check the other entrance and headed in that direction. Doug speculates that if Jenny's parents avoided the main entrance, they likely came in via the service road, which would place them at the rear of the engineering buildings. As they hear a hissing sound, the soldiers urge quick action. The group walks cautiously, but soon encounters an emerging alien. Amidst the tension, one soldier, Jack, suggests splitting up, but Doug and the other soldier dismiss the idea, pointing out that it often leads to characters dying one by one in movies. Doug guides them differently. They quickly find a sewer entrance, get inside and close the iron bar behind them, securing themselves from the alien threat outside. In the facility, a man approaches Elaine. She thanks him for bringing them to safety, expressing uncertainty about what would have happened otherwise. He dismisses the need for thanks and asks about her friend's condition. Elaine reassures him that her friend will be fine and reveals her real name, Elaine, instead of the name she initially gave, Rose. The man introduces himself as Colt and then notices his wallet in her possession. Realizing she knew he was a soldier, Colt expresses his disappointment, mentioning he was considering asking her out. Elaine apologizes, attempting to explain the situation. In the sewer, Doug encounters a man he recognizes as Kevin. Doug informs Kevin that Jenny is safe and that they have come to take him to her, but they need to leave immediately. When Doug asks about Jenny's mother, he realizes Kevin has been attacked by an alien and is now hostile. Kevin attacks Doug, forcing a black liquid from his mouth into Doug's. Meanwhile, the soldiers realize Doug is missing and return to look for him. In the facility, Helen discovers worms moving inside her arms and collapses. Elaine and Laurie take her to the infirmary, where Bane starts helping. Laurie confronts Helen about what happened outside, suspicious of her condition. Bane discusses his concerns with Colt, explaining that he saw something crawling under Helen's skin and believes she is hiding something. Colt is skeptical but acknowledges Bane's concerns. Trent and Jenny arrive and Bane repeats his observations about Helen, emphasizing the need for caution and the possibility that both Helen and Elaine are concealing critical information. In the sewer, the two soldiers accompanying Doug are attacked by an alien. One soldier is killed while the other, Jack, manages to escape and runs into the factory. Back in the facility, Helen's condition deteriorates rapidly. Bane arrives and, assessing the situation, shoots Helen, explaining that she was already infected and would not have survived. Laurie, outraged by Bane's actions, pushes him away. Suddenly, a snake-like creature emerges from Helen's body and jumps into the freezer. Elaine quickly closes the freezer, but the creature breaks out and escapes, adding to the chaos and danger in the facility. Colt and Bane decide to dispose of Helen's body. While Colt is outside assessing the situation, he encounters Laurie. As he approaches her, he realizes she is infected. Laurie attacks Colt, and a snake-like organism emerges from her. Colt manages to push her into a fire, burning the creature. Doug returns to the facility alone. Trent and Jenny see him on the security camera, and Jenny realizes that her parents are likely dead. In the sewer, Jack attempts to fend off an alien, but is quickly killed. Back in the facility, Bane discovers Laurie's body, and Colt explains why he had to kill her, detailing the infection and the snake-like organism. Doug turns off the power in the facility. Colt, armed with a gun, patrols the building and encounters an alien. Meanwhile, Bane questions Jenny about Trent's whereabouts. She explains that Trent went to see his father as they saw him on the monitor. Bane is alarmed, stating that it is impossible because he is the only one with the key to get in and out of the facility. Realizing something is wrong, they understand that the person seen on the monitor might not be who they think. Elaine is walking around the facility when she witnesses an alien eating Colt. Terrified, she runs away, but the alien gives chase. Despite managing to escape, she finds herself surrounded by two more aliens. At that moment, Doug appears, but it's clear something is terribly wrong with him as he spits out three snake-like creatures from his mouth, revealing his infection. Trent, searching for his dad, navigates the facility with a torch and finds Doug. He runs to him and hugs him, only to realize Doug is infected. Trent flees and alerts Bane and Jenny via radio. They rush to find him and discover Elaine on the ground. Trent enters a room but is attacked by Doug, who attempts to transfer the infection. Bane arrives just in time and shoots Doug, saving Trent. As they leave, Trent finds out his mother is also dead. Suddenly, aliens arrive, forcing the trio to sneak into an underground tunnel. During their escape, an alien attacks Bane, and Trent and Jenny run away. Outside, they see a portal emerging from which a larger alien appears. Realizing they wouldn't survive, Trent and Jenny hug each other, bracing for the end. However, aircraft emerge and start bombing the alien, killing it. The movie concludes with Trent and Jenny watching the aircraft destroy the portal, signifying their survival.